You're listening to Lemons Listening Library. Discover the story behind the stories with unique and raw conversations from the people who make your favorite books a reality. All right, welcome to this episode of Lemons Listening Library. I am Randi Lemons, fantasy author, or RL. Oh my gosh, I need to change that. RL Rose, for those of you in the romance community. And we have our fantastic Cathy on today. Cathy, do your introduction.
Hey y'all, I'm Cathy Ireland. I own Phoenix Audio Productions and I help authors get their books into an audiobook. I manage that whole production. And I consume 98% of my books via audiobook. So
She's amazing. You guys check her out.
thank you.
All right, guys. The guest we have on today is Jennifer Hilley. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I always screw up names. Jennifer, will you tell our listeners about yourself?
Hey everyone. Thanks for having me on. I'm JF Hilley. That's my author name, or you can just call me Jen. So I did 20 years in the Air Force. I just retired a few years ago during COVID, and I traveled all over the world, deployments and everything. And Now I work for the government again. Not sure how long that's going to last. Um, I wrote two books. I just published my second book, but the first one is about my time. It's fictional, but it is the time that I spent in Afghanistan. So it's a heavy read. I've been told it was a very heavy read. The second one just came along because people kept asking about the first one and where the characters went. Basically, I didn't realize I was going to do a second one, but I just went ahead and did it. I was like, sure, yeah, I can continue the story of the characters. So that one was a lot of fun. The second one. I'm sure we're going to go over it later about why I had to rewrite it in a week.
Oh my
But
goodness. Yeah, we definitely need to talk
yeah,
about that.
yeah, we're going to talk about that. But yeah, so I wrote The Killing of a Shadow is the first book, and then the second book is The Shadow's Return. I It's a little bit more spicier, the second one. A lot of people like that. The audiobooks are great too. Well, I guess we'll talk about that too. I really don't, when people ask me to talk about myself, I don't know what else to say.
Right.
I grew up in Jersey, but I left when I was 13. My mother lost her job, and then we moved to North Carolina. I spent my high school days there, and then I joined the Air Force. I had to get out of there. Not because of North Carolina. North Carolina was great. It was just my home life with my single mom was not. It wasn't the greatest. It was very hard. So I had to get out of that situation. So I joined the military. I didn't think I would ever do something like that. But I just had to get out of there and do something, and I did. And it was funny because like every 4 years when you're about to reenlist, I would always tell myself, I'm not doing this anymore. I can't do this anymore. And they would know how to just draw you back in.
Oh
They knew how to like just
no.
reenlist. Oh, it'll only be another 4 years, just another 4 years, and they would
They're
just do that every
professionals at
time.
that.
Yeah. And like after 10 years, you're like, you might as well do the next 10,
Oh
and
no.
retire. So that's what I did. And it was just, I had my head down for all those years. And just when I looked up, I was like, whoa, where did my life go? It was just so fast. And you're just so busy, busy, busy. And it was just, during Operation Enduring Freedom. So it was just like constant deployments and constant exercises and constant just, it just felt like it was never, I never had a break. It was just always going on. And everyone was like, why did it take you so long to write this book? And I didn't have the time. I was going to school. I was, deploying. I was PCSing from different base to different base and just overseas. Pretty much my whole career was overseas. So it was just busy, busy, busy. I haven't seen my family since like 2003, and just still haven't seen them. That's how crazy my life has been. So yeah, one person was like, I was telling them about my time in Afghanistan, and they were like, wow, you should really write a book. And I'm like, a book? Me, an author? Like, I never would have thought of being an author ever. Just never thought of it. And a friend of mine was an author. So I'm like, how did you do this? How did you even start writing a book? And then he told me, you start with page one and,
It's as simple as
and
that.
go from there. And I'm like, okay, that's what I did. No, he was great. He helped me a lot. He read it and he was like, Jen, your first 5 chapters were kind of like very Air Force structured. And I'm like, I didn't know what I was doing. I just,
What did you expect me to do?
I mean, that's what all you knew.
so, but he's like, after that, it got much better. Somehow your brain flipped and you kind of,
You found your writer voice.
found it. Yeah. Find the writing, so I just like, okay, well, that's good. And a lot of people have told me, have you ever thought about rewriting it? And I'm like, no, I'm just going to leave it just like that. 'Cause it'll remind me what kind of writer, how I started and how I am now. So
I have to say that is a brave move right there, because I'm same shoes as you. I pulled that book. I'm like, no one needs to see this, but it is. I imagine years down the line going back and rereading it and then seeing what you do
yeah,
now. Continuing your writing career. It's a good comparison. It's like taking progress pictures at the gym.
yeah, exactly. So that's why I didn't want to change it. I was like, no, I'm going to leave it like that. As horrible as it was, I'm just gonna. And some people, they really like it. One girl actually told me it was the best book she ever read. I said, no, it's not. Come on, no. And she's like, yeah, it was the story and everything. And I'm like, well,
Well, and I
thank
think
you.
I think that says more to do with like the connection your story had to them, not necessarily like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Everyone's at different places in their lives, and things either were meant for them in that moment or it wasn't meant for them in that moment, and then they just kind of liked it. But if it was meant for them in that moment and everything lined up right with like experiences they were having, it connects to them emotionally.
yeah. I can see that, yeah, because the character went through a lot. I mean, and my cousin, she read it and she's like, Jen, is this about you? And I'm like, well, yeah, a lot of it is, growing up in an abusive home, and then the military life was not easy at all. After 9/11, it was chaos, and I just put all of my feelings into that, and I guess a lot of people felt it, and some others they didn't like it because one, I made the mistake of not putting my trigger warnings in the beginning of the book. I should have done that, and maybe I can make that change. I can contact Gatekeeper Press and say, hey, can you add just a page that has my trigger? And there's a lot. It's on my website. So now I always tell people, please go on my website, read the trigger warnings first. I don't want to upset you, and I don't want to bring up old feelings you might had, something that happened to you. Like, that's the last thing I want to do. But I did keep it raw. I did keep the events that happened kind of raw. So it is can be kind of graphic and heavy. It's a heavy read. But yeah.
Do you think this was really almost like a therapeutic thing for you,
Yeah,
writing this?
absolutely. Hmm.
And so maybe
Yes,
that
absolutely.
working through all of those things maybe cleared your mind, your soul, like to then extend into book two, because you weren't planning on doing that, were you?
No, not at all. I finished it with book one. I kind of left it open at the end just in case, just to kind of let the reader kind of decide on their own how they wanted the character to end up. So that way it's not just closed off. Um, but yeah, definitely therapeutic. When I was in the service, now it's different. But when I was in the service, going to see a therapist was,
Oh yeah, you get in. It's almost like you get in trouble for that. They
yeah,
flag you for like, okay, we need to watch them, or you can even get, like.
They're crazy. If you're going to a
yeah,
therapist, they're crazy,
yeah.
unstable.
So I
Yeah.
did. I didn't. I I still have it now, but not as bad as before. I had PTSD really bad from the things that I saw.
Oh,
But I realized that I've had it my whole life because of what my home life was like growing up. The things that happened to me when I was a kid, and I kept it inside because I was so afraid to tell anybody what happened. So I just kept it inside, and it was just like this big ball of, anger, and just I hated myself, imposter syndrome, just all kinds of stuff. And then when I wrote it, it really did lift. Like, it felt like two cinder blocks just lifted off to my shoulders, because I got it out. I got it out of my mind, and I just put it all out into my characters. And and it's all about resiliency. And that's what we learn in the service too. They really teach you how to be resilient, because you have to go through so much. And they don't want everybody breaking down, so they teach you how to be resilient. And I learned a lot of that. And I know one of the questions was, what did you take away when you got out of the military that put into your writing? And definitely resiliency. I put it into my characters. So just to kind of, when the reader reads it, they kind of say, oh, the character is going through it, and then they're able to get through it. So
Yeah.
that's
It
my message.
sounds like you might have had that resiliency before you went through the military, and that just kind of like helped you fine tune it, because trauma in early life can just, it can be, if we learn from it, it can be such a great tool, but that
Mhm.
doesn't take away the pain, and the stuff. Like, going through that was not fun. People like, no one should be
Yeah.
like, okay, I want my kid to be really resilient, so I'm gonna make their lives hell.
Right. No.
Yeah.
Did you guys watch Game of Thrones?
Yes, I did.
So
Kathy hasn't.
Sansa,
some of it, like
remember
little
the
clips.
last, yeah. So like the last season when she's talking to the Hound, and he's like, you didn't have to go through all of that. I could have stopped that. She goes, if I didn't go through all of that, I pretty much, in so many words, I wouldn't be the person I am today. And when I heard her say that, I'm like, oh my God, that is so true. Like, I didn't want all those things to happen to me, but they kind of had to get me where I am today, to write what I wrote, and to kind of picture it in my mind, and to feel those feelings, and pour it out into my characters. I'm not saying that people that didn't go through those things aren't good writers, or aren't, it's just, that's like a piece of me. It's a part of me. And I don't think I would change it. I know some people will say, would you go in a time machine and change it? And I'm like, probably not. No, probably not.
Yeah.
So
My husband has asked me that question multiple times, and I'm like, okay, if I had the choice, no, I wouldn't go back. But if I was like forced to restart, of course I couldn't go through life knowing what I know now and make the same choices. Like, I couldn't be with that abusive person again. I couldn't make the choice to be with them again, right? But would I go back and take it away? No, because just like you
yeah,
said, it shaped me into who I am, and I love who I am.
And I'm sure along the
that's
way there's
good.
blessings that you received.
I have two
Even
amazing blessings.
I have 3, so I get you.
Yeah. No, that's a great message, Jen. And also, Sansa needed that. She was not a good person in the beginning of that. Like,
Yeah.
she was so naive and in fantasy land, and then just, yeah, she needed some roughening up her edges a little bit.
Yeah, she was definitely not my favorite character. In the end, she was a good character, but in the beginning, I was like, oh God,
Yeah,
you know.
this woman again. Oh my gosh. The Hound was my favorite from the beginning, though. So
Yeah,
yeah. Um, so you were in the military for 10 years, or no, 20 years,
2020.
huh? Yeah. Oh my gosh. How did you feel going from that structure to the freedom and the vulnerability of like, my choices are, it's on me now?
When I when I put in for my retirement, you do it a year out. That way, it gives you a whole year to kind of get your affairs together. Get a replacement to do your work. Blah blah blah. So that whole year, everyone's like, "Oh, you made a mistake. You shouldn't do it. Just stay in, and do another 4." And I'm like, "I'm done, you guys. I am done. I have done 20. I am done. I'm ready to leave this type of life and go and do what I want to do." And they're like, "So what do you want to do?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I don't know what I want to do." Um, And it's funny because I'm doing the same job that I did in the military. So I had my head down for so long doing my job and focusing on making sure everything was taken care of and not getting in trouble. That's like the one thing. Don't get in trouble when you're in the military, right? So you're always trying to just stay out of trouble. When I got out, it was like, what do I do now? I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I can get up now when I want. I can go see a friend in the mainland when I want to. I don't have to report to anybody. I don't have to worry about, oh, you're leaving in 2 days to go to Afghanistan. That happened to me on Christmas.
Oh
I got a phone
no.
call, you know, and you better be ready because if not, you're gonna get in trouble. I didn't have to worry about that no more. I had the casualty phone, so it's this separate cell phone. So if someone passes away or something happens, you have the phone and you have it for a week, right? Every time I had that phone, something happened, and it was just like 3 in the morning, and you have no choice but to go and deal with it and make sure the family's taken care of. And just, it was really rough and it was so stressful. And I didn't have the phone anymore. I didn't get these phone calls anymore. Like, you're leaving soon. Make sure you have all your shots. Make sure your weapon is ready to go. And it's just the freedom of like, okay, now I can do whatever I want. So yeah, it was great. What a great feeling. Everyone's like, do you miss it? I'm like, no, I don't miss it
But
at
do
all.
you
There's like
sleep in?
certain little things.
Do you sleep in? Does your body let you do that?
No,
Like piss you off
20
for the first
years,
year? It would
yeah.
piss me off if I was able to. And my body's like, no, we're getting up at 3
yeah,
or whatever.
no. You're getting up at 4:30.
Oh my
So,
gosh. Yeah. That's a good question.
and
Really,
I
the
could
I
not
most
tell you,
important
imagine.
one.
some days when I do sleep in, I'm like, oh wow, that's weird. And then I feel super tired. Like I kind of regret it a little bit,
Right.
but I can't even enjoy it. So,
Oh man.
That is a damn shame
I
right there.
That is oh my gosh, yeah. Kathy likes her naps.
I sleep in on the weekends. Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, you mentioned getting called on like Christmas break and having to rush back and things like that. Uh, PTSD, can you explain what that is for anyone who's listening? I'm sure everyone knows kind of what it is, but like I'm thinking of that and I'm thinking every Christmas you're probably like a little bit tense of like that's going to happen again. So, yeah,
yes,
kind of tell us about that.
yes. Yeah, definitely. That's part of the stress of PTSD. Loud noises. I can't do 4th of July anymore. I can't do New Year's anymore. I used to love fireworks. I used to love going and see that stuff. And before living in this place, I lived in the countryside of Hawaii. And over there, they like to make makeshift fireworks because it's illegal here, even though they go nuts here with fireworks. Oh my God, it's insane. But they sound like bombs when they go off. They're so loud, and it's so loud that my windows shake in the old house. I had to move. I couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And I would jump, and then my heart would be racing so fast. I would start sweating, and I would just sit there and I would freeze. And there was a incident that happened in Afghanistan. We got attacked, and a vehicle right outside of our compound. It had 1,100 pounds of C4 explosives in the trunk. Basically, this driver was trying to get into the embassy. The embassy was right next to our compound, and he was trying to get in, and the guard was like, "No, you're not coming in here. You don't have the proper documentation or whatever." So he's like, "Okay, I'm just gonna explode here then." And when that happened, the force of that was so bad. I remember I was working on an award for somebody, and I was standing up at my desk, and I look up, and you can see the building. You can see it do this, and
Hmm.
I couldn't believe it. The sound was so loud. I will never forget that for the rest of my life. the glass door flew off at the hinges, glass went everywhere. My coworker got glass in their eye, and it was just like the worst sound ever. And I stood there and I froze. You know how they say flight or fight? I
Or
froze. There
freeze.
should be a third F. I froze. I didn't know what to do. All that training they sent me to, all that training they put me through before going to Afghanistan, you spend like a month at combat skills training, and they're teaching you all this stuff, and you're like, yeah, you know, you don't think about it because it's like yeah, it's not gonna happen, right? Ever. And it happens, and then you freeze, and all that training is gone, until someone's like in your face, like, hey, come on, let's
Yeah.
go, get your weapon, get your gear, let's go. And then it all kicks in, and then you're like, okay, focus mode happens. But then it's like you don't have time to process it because a million things are happening at one time, and you don't have time to process it. And I think that's where PTSD comes in, is where like you're not allowing yourself to think about it and process it and kind of like get through it. You don't have time, and then you can't go talk to people about it, because if you do that, then it's like, oh, you can't make it out here, oh, we're going to send you home, and oh, your commander's going to get a phone call, and oh, it's so stressful. It just piles on and piles on, and then you have to act like you're a strong person and continue with your job the next day. There's no days off when you're over there. You have to continue doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Um,
That space,
and
Kathy and me have both experienced it. Like the hard stuff that happens in our life, having that space from it makes you to where you can feel it and you can kind of move through it. And I cannot imagine never having the opportunity to have that space. And I think you're right. That's probably where the PTSD comes from.
yeah, it's just like I it's unfortunate, but uh if you have family members and you have friends that can help you, get through it, that's amazing. But when you don't have anybody, and then you're afraid to talk about it because of what might happen, it kind of wears on you a little bit, and you kind of you're forced to put this smiley face on, and you're forced to, just walk around like, yeah, I'm okay, when you're really not. And then eventually you just kind of, it just all comes out at one time, and you don't want that to happen, and you kind of want to, uh, get as much help as you can and get through it. But yeah, it's like when things like that happen now, when I hear a loud noise or something, I just breathe and I just tell myself, you're not there anymore. It's okay. You made it back. Everything's going to be fine. You just talk to yourself, not, out loud, but you kind of like just, um, coach yourself through it, and realize that you're not the only one, and you kind of uh, get through it. And it's part of life, unfortunately. But yeah, PTSD is just it's one of those. I don't want to say it's tricky, but it's once you have it, and a lot of people have it, they don't realize it sometimes because they've repressed it so much in their life. And I don't know if I want to say that's normal, but kind of it's common for sure. And it's not just a military thing, because I had it before I went to the military, because of the things that happened. So I just kind of was like, when it was going on, I was like, wow, I guess this is going to be added to it, I guess, this other thing that just happened. So yeah, it's just how I cope with it is uh, I focus on a project, I focus on a book. I work out at the gym. I
Yeah.
try to
Find a
find,
healthy outlet.
yeah, just try to find things to uh, get through it. And yeah.
Do you
So,
do you I'm sure this is super common. So is that something that like I know that your book is probably very helpful on that, but do you personally like have groups or people that you work with or that either to help you or to help um, other people, other service members or whatever that experience PTSD?
There right now, what I like to go on to is it's called Military One Source. And it's a really good website for anybody. Actually, you don't have to be in the military. You can actually go on there and look at it. And they have people on there that you can contact. I have my friends, and I have, I don't know if you guys know what Discord is.
Yeah, we loved it. Well, I love Discord.
I've been
Cathy,
forced
take it or leave
into it.
Like, I don't understand it.
I love it. I love it so much. There are so many people on there that I've actually never met before, and I'm gonna meet them soon, this summer. But we have trips planned. But yeah, I go on there, and there's like no judgment at all. I can talk to them about anything, and they are not gonna judge me. And it's just like such a great space to be part of. And we all have the same goal, the same likes that the reason the whole Discord was started. And we all talk about that. But when we have like an emotional event or something, they're all there. They're all there for me, and I'm there for them. And I
That's
absolutely love
amazing.
it. And yeah, and the funny thing is like we're scattered all over the world, so uh someone's always on there. It's never just like never not busy, which I love. So when I'm feeling down or when I'm feeling a little, depressed or something, I'll go on there and I'll talk about it on there, and someone will come on and tell me something, or how to get through it really quick, or what I can do, and it's so helpful. And they're such great people. I love them.
That's really important, because the statistics for suicide rates with military
Yeah,
people, it is astounding, and it is
it's
devastating. And so I think that's one of the biggest things, is like knowing that you're not alone, and having other people that 3 o'clock in the morning you can message.
mhm.
Like, because
Yep.
that's when those thoughts start coming in. That's whenever you feel alone. That's whenever, you're like, I can't pull myself out of this darkness. And so finding a place like that, guys, if you have those thoughts, find something like that,
Yeah.
that you can message 3 o'clock in the morning and feel like you matter to someone.
Yeah.
Because you do.
Absolutely.
You do. 100%. Military or not, guys.
Right. It's not just the military.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Do you
PTSD
mind
happens to
sharing
all of
that
us.
again, Jen, real quick? That Discord or whatever group that is. Do you mind sharing that again?
Oh, so
It might be a
so
private one.
Oh, is it
yeah, it
private?
is.
Oh, never
Yeah, it's
mind.
a private one.
There's other ones. Yeah.
There are plenty out there though, guys. Just Google it. Like, you can find a place, I'm sure. If you need a group, like, you can come to the L3 Lemons Listening Library group. But that's just, find your people. That's kind of what we're saying. There's, especially with the online space now, there's so many
Yeah,
opportunities.
so
And
many.
I love that you mentioned that military is starting to get to where they're more accepting of therapeutic stuff now. But therapy doesn't have to always just be sitting in an office talking to a therapist. It can be, like you said, talking to a group of friends. It can be writing a book. It can be all these different things that lets you work through your emotions. Because exactly like you said, the trauma and the PTSD comes from suppressing it, comes from not working through your emotions, and then it builds and builds and starts affecting your life and your health and all these different things, because you're holding it in and not feeling those emotions.
Yeah. And feeling like you're alone. That's the other thing too. And you're definitely not not alone.
Well,
Uh
even I feel like people even feel like they're alone in their situation, and then when they reach out, I imagine you're like, whoa, there's other people who feel exactly like I did, going through
yeah.
the exact same thing I went through.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's amazing. I have a question, and you can answer this however you see fit, as vague as you want. But was there a lot of like anger or resentment to being in the army, or the military, I'm sorry, for that long, and putting all of your soul into that, and then still feeling like you did not have the space to kind of work through your stuff, or that no one really cared enough to see past the bravado that you guys have to put on?
Yeah. Perfect example was when I got back from Afghanistan, right? You have to in process back into the unit, but before you can do that, they say you can't go home and see your family until you tell us if you're okay or not. If you're not okay, you're going to have to spend this much time over here, and then you can go home. And of course, what are you going to do?
I'm
You're going to go,
fine.
you're going to say, I'm fine. I'm fine. I
Totally
want to go
fine.
home.
It's all good.
Yeah. That's how they do it. That's how they do it. So, which I think is BS. It's bullshit.
It is
Um,
bullshit.
because I went through a lot over there and I wanted to talk to somebody, but I couldn't do that. I couldn't go home first and be home and relax and then do it. No, I had to do it before. So they've changed that for sure. They have changed that. So I envy the new troops today that are coming in, because they have all these avenues. They keep saying it to them. Don't worry, you're not going to get in trouble. Please come talk to us. Before it was like, yeah, you can go ahead, go.
Say something.
And
I dare you.
then you're kind of like, if I go, what's going to happen? It was just horrible, just horrible. But yeah, they have that now. So I envy that. I don't hate them for it, but I envy them because it's like I wish it was safer. Like you had that safe feeling. I didn't have that safe feeling. I felt like my career is going to be over if I say anything. And oh, you're a female, so oh, see, I told you, you guys can't do this. So when you're a female in such a male dominated space, they look at you like, oh, see, told you guys, they can't do it. So it's kind of like,
Dang. Double whammy.
Oof.
yeah.
Do
So,
you feel like
no, go ahead, Randy.
do you feel like you got some of that anger and frustration out with your writing? Was that a place that was like, okay, now I can really get, like you said, raw and just let these emotions and these experiences show through your creativity?
Yeah. Definitely. There's a few characters that I put in there that yeah, they're real. I just didn't use their name. So,
Oh yeah. Somebody gets not so good of an ending, huh?
but
So,
yeah.
Jen, I'm wondering, so you really didn't kind of go into this thinking, I'm going to be an author, right? Am I understanding that correctly? So you just went into it like,
Not at
okay, I'm going to
all.
write a book because it's a cool story, supposedly. So we're just going to write it and be done. So now, how has your um, how has your vision for yourself changed from, do you see yourself as an author and something that you want to pursue? Or is that like, that was fun? Okay. Like, where are you at with that now?
That's a good
So
question.
that is a really good question. So what I do now in my real job, I'm HR. I do human resources, and it's okay. It's a job, but it's not like a passion for me. When I started writing, when I did the first book, it was hard because I've never done it before, obviously, and trying to get it right, trying to get the right words in, and trying to, by the time the first book was done, I needed a break. I was like, oh my God, that was exhausting,
Yep.
um, so exhausting. But I did it, and it felt like a great accomplishment. And then everybody kept asking, they were reading it, and they're like, oh, what happens with Alex next? And I'm like, I don't know. I guess I can cook up a story and figure out where does she go? Where does she go next? And then the second book it was fun. I actually liked doing the second book. I was like, oh, I like this story and I like where it's going. And I'm like, this is actually getting fun. So now I'm actually doing a third book. Um, but
Yes.
it's going to be a romantasy this time. No more thrillers. No more. That part of me is done. I think I'm done with the thriller genre.
Yeah.
So now I'm diving into romance fantasy because it's fun. So I'm like, I'm
It is
liking this
fun.
now because now I know the formula. I know the formula now. 3 acts. Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. Like the story goes up arc and then it goes down and then so I'm like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
I have a lot of ideas and stories, so I'm like, yeah, why not? So well, we'll see. Do I consider myself an author? I mean, I don't know. Maybe with the second book, the first book, kind
No,
of
I'm gonna stop you
no.
right there, girlfriend. You are an author. Like that is, you've got it. Even if you weren't published, like if you finish that book, you are a writer. You are an author. You hang on to that. You've accomplished something huge.
No, truly, because how many people think, I should write a book, or, oh, you should write a book. And it's like, that just doesn't ever happen. So really, that's pretty fucking phenomenal that you did it. So
You're
Well,
awesome,
thank
Jen.
you. Thank you.
Especially that. Like I don't think people understand the emotions that go into writing something so close to
Oh
your
my God.
heart. Like
Oh,
that is literally like almost taking your diary and it,
yeah.
fantasizing it a little bit, adding some fluff, but that is part of your soul. Like that, those first books, especially when people don't realize they're going to be an author, like you're kind of writing, like thinking no one's going to read this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking. Like, no one's gonna read this. Why?
Yeah.
What is this? But the second book, when you talk about feelings, I know that Cathy, you said you love listening to books, right? I do too. I love audiobooks so much. So the second book, I don't know, Corvin King?
he's amazing.
Oh my God. I cry every time I listen to the ending of my book, the bonus chapter I threw in there. I do. He did it so perfect.
His voice is
I
so
had
fucking
zero
delicious.
edits.
I mean, seriously, he's amazing. Really. What's the name of your second book?
Yeah, I was gonna
The
say that you just sold it. Like you got a new reader right there.
the
It's
Shadows
Corbin.
Return.
What was it?
Yeah, I can't believe he said yes. Do you know how many
The
times I've
Shadows
gotten turned
Return,
down?
Cathy.
Sorry, what was that?
What?
The Shadows Return. Sorry, Cathy
Oh,
was
okay.
asking one more time what your
I
book's
couldn't
name
hear.
was.
Yeah, I didn't hear you.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're
Yeah,
fine.
the Shadows Return.
So you were saying you
It's
couldn't believe that he took it on?
Yeah, I when he said yes, I'm like, what? Like, because I've gotten turned down so many times,
But
because they
Corbin is
agreed to,
military. Corbin's also
yeah,
former military.
yeah.
So you probably
We
had like
talked a lot about that.
I bet you did.
He's like, damn girl, you did a lot of research on this. I said, yeah, I did a lot of research.
Like it's lived in research.
Yeah.
Who was your female? Did you
Did
have
he?
a female narrator? I'm sorry, Randy.
Yeah, I
No, you're good.
used so Monica Plant, she also goes by Kingsley Rose.
Mm.
So Monica Plant, her side of Monica Plant did the first book. And then when I pitched her the second book, she's like, "Oh, this is spicier. Do you want me to play it as Kingsley Rose?" And I'm like, "Do what you want, girl. You're amazing. You did the first book. You did it so well. Please do the second one." And yeah, so she's marketed as, Kingsley Rose in the
Hmm.
second one. They did no edits for these two. When I got the audio back, for the review, nothing. I listened to 9 hours of zero edit. I'm like, how is this possible? They did such a good job.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they did everything perfectly.
That's huge. 9 hours,
Yeah,
dang.
That's
That's really
awesome.
cool. I think that they're probably, especially the male character, probably really connected with your story, it being military and stuff, and I bet he was excited to see something like that out there.
yeah. He talked about it. We did a live together. I think in February, and it's on my Instagram if you guys ever want to see it. But yeah, he talked about how his dad did SEER training and the survival training, and a lot of that is in the second book. My character goes through a lot of that type of training to get this guy. So he's like, you did so much research. I'm like, I know, and it's hard to research that kind of stuff because they don't put that kind of stuff online.
Yeah.
um, they don't want people knowing what their guys go through. So in those situations, but he's like, yeah, even like the helicopter and all this stuff, you did so much research. I said, yeah, I want it to sound correct, and when people read it, they're not like, this girl doesn't know what she's talking about. But yeah, he enjoyed it. He said he really loved, he just said it was a heavy read. He's like,
Yeah.
he said it was one of his favorites, but on that, like, because of the the story and like the research I put into it. But yeah, it's a heavy read. A lot happens physical to her. So
I noticed that you've done that twice now. When someone says your book is their favorite, you give an excuse to like, it wasn't because it was the book, it was because of this. It's like, it's okay for them to love your book and it be their favorite.
imposter syndrome. I have that too.
Yeah. I
can't
that.
take a compliment. It feels weird.
You're like, ew, gross.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what to say.
So okay, now we can get into
the romance.
No, go ahead.
Are we going in the romance scene?
That wasn't what I was gonna say.
Oh no. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna talk about her rewrite.
Oh no, we're gonna go to romance scene.
Yeah, go for it. We take it.
I want to talk about the romance scene one. So can you tell us like what the general premise of is for it, or
the rewrite is going to come into this part because
perfect. There we go.
There we go.
Do you guys listen to Quinn?
I don't, but Cathy has turned me on, pun intended, to it.
I'm about to turn you on. I'm about to turn you on to it.
Preach it,
you
girl.
write for them. I fucking knew it. You write for them. No, you do.
Tried. Nobody wants me.
Come on. There's so many.
Nobody wants me.
Mercy, he doesn't. You need Ben. Come on, we have so many. We'll find you some.
So Corvin was thinking about doing Quinn, and I'm like,
oh, he fucking should. Yes, but he has to say dollface in it. That's like the requirement right there.
I said, ooh, if you need a writer, and he goes, yeah, let me think about it. But no, I'm not a writer for Quinn, unfortunately. Not yet. Maybe one day. We'll see. But last August, in 2024, I was listening to B.B. Easton. She is my favorite author of all time.
So
right?
Good.
I was listening to, oh my God, I love her so much. She wrote The Devil of Dublin and then The Devil Himself. The Devil Himself, by far, best book I ever read and listened to. So
they're on my TBR. They're in my book funnel.
Oh my God.
Just haven't gotten to
you're
it
gonna
yet.
love them. Oh, you're gonna love them. So the narrator for The Devil of Dublin
Nolan.
is the first book. Eric Nolan, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Cathy knows her stuff.
Yes, Eric. So are you a Devil of Dublin fan on Quinn?
Oh, I'm in his Discord. And in the Patreon. Yeah.
Oh, so we're on the same Discord. This is the Discord I was talking about. The Sinner Sisterhood?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Cathy hates Discord,
hello,
remember?
fellow sinner.
Hello. I'm in there, but like, yeah. For one, I don't have time to be commenting on all that shit. Like, I just have time.
Yeah.
But I did kind of like get the whole Gen X, like, group of sinners together. We all kind of conglomerated for a minute. And then I left.
Yeah.
She's like,
I didn't leave. I have shit to do. I have books that I'm trying to get produced.
But so now that you know Eric Nolan, right? So I listened to the book and I was just done. Like this is the second book, right? So I was on the last chapter of writing this book last August. And I finished listening to The Devil Himself and The Devil of Dublin. And I'm like, oh my God, I love this voice. I want him to play Liam, right? Let's see if he can do it. My dumb self rewrote the whole book first, right? Before asking him. And I should have just asked him first because he was like, no, I don't, I'm booked. Like he was just, movies and other audiobooks and he was just super busy. So I was like, oh no, I just rewrote this whole book for you, man. Because I wanted you to narrate it. And so he couldn't do it. So that's how I got Corvin King. I was asking around. I asked Monica Plant. I said, hey, do you know any narrators, that would, so we can do a dual narration. She gave me Connor Crass.
Connor Crace.
Crace. Yeah, sorry, Connor Crace. And who was the other one? She gave me Corvin, and then she gave me Teddy Hamilton, right?
Oh.
Because she knows all these guys. So I'm like contacting them, and she's like, I'll contact them too and see who we can get. And Corvin King came back first. He's like, yeah, I'll do it. So that's how I got Corvin King.
He's the perfect one of those, and Connor's my favorite. Like, he's literally like my very top favorite narrator. And I love Teddy too, but I think for your Corvin was probably the best one for that, because he can put in the emotion, you know.
Yeah, definitely. When he says, you know, she's mine. Yeah.
You're like, hang on, let me replay.
Yeah.
Why is this sentence so fucking long? It's like 15 minutes on constant repeat.
So for the romantasy, so listening to B.B. Easton's work and everything, listening to it, and you know, I've listened to all of Eric Nolan's podcasts that he's been on, and he always talks about how he's, you know, the 6'4" Viking, you know, and all this stuff. So he's always talking about how he's a Viking, right? So I'm like, this story just developed in my mind about, because I love Vikings. I love like the whole historic premise, you know, about it and everything. And
especially being military, there's a lot of people who, with Valhalla and everything within the Norse mythology, connect so much with military backgrounds.
I love it. I love all of that stuff. So I bought a bunch of books on Viking history and just, you know, lore and fairy tales and all this stuff. And so the premise, I'm on like chapter 5 right now, but the premise right now is 1,000 years ago, a group of Vikings, just like what really happened, traveled to North America. They came in through Canada and came down into North America. And then they vanished, right? So there's a lot of documentaries and everything, and it just really sparked my interest in this. And so I thought, when I watched these documentaries, I'm like, okay, so they just vanished. You know, what actually happened, right? So I thought, 6'4" Viking, you know, named Eric. You know, I even named him Eric. I just spell it differently. And I'm like, what if he went hunting and he killed an animal he wasn't supposed to kill, and a witch catches him and curses him, right? This is where the fantasy part comes in. So she curses him for killing this sacred, it's like a sacred stag, right? And she curses him, and he's stuck in that forest. He can't get out. And the only way to break the curse is someone has to fall in love with him, but he's stuck
crazy
in there.
Sex. Just say it. It's gotta be crazy sex to break the curse.
So he's stuck. This poor guy is stuck in this forest. No one can get in, and he can't get out. So how's he supposed to fall in love, right? That's how she's getting him, basically. And she torments him every month. On the full moon, she torments him. Lo and behold, 1,000 years goes by. This poor guy is stuck in there, right? And I've pitched this to Eric. I messaged him and I said, hey, I'm using you as like my muse, okay? When I'm writing this character, because he even looks the part, like everything, long hair, long beard, everything, right?
Beard, red hair.
Yeah. So I'm kind of using him when I'm, you know, picturing the character and, you know, developing the story. So right on the edge of the forest, right, there's a stone, like a 4-foot stone wall, like an old kind of stone wall separating the forest from this colonial house that was built 300 years ago from an Irish family that came over to to North America. And it's like right there on the edge of the forest, right? So it's kind of like that perimeter is like right there. Well, yeah, a girl moves in. Her name is Crimson because of her hair. Her hair is like deep, dark red. She has bright green eyes. And he sees her and she sees him. And there's that lightning bolt connection. And it pretty much goes from there. So I don't want to give it all away.
No, don't give it all away. But that's
away.
amazing.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So are you planning on having the same narrators for this series, or you want to branch out?
Oh, it's Eric.
I really want Eric bad. And I told him, I said, this is probably going to take me like a year to write, maybe a year and a half, because it's a whole different genre. You know, I'm not doing thrillers anymore. I'm going into the romance fantasy world. So I want it to be really good. And I'm doing it in first person this time. I'm not doing it like the first book was third person, so it was kind of cold. My writing was kind of, to me, it was kind of cold. The second book, because I heard his voice, it got me thinking like, I need to make this first person. If I'm going to have, you know, Kingsley Rose and him, you know, as Alex and Liam, I don't want third person anymore. I want to do first person. I want the readers to feel it, their emotions when they're reading it coming from them, you know. So I rewrote the whole freaking thing in like a week. I literally, it took me like, I was like 10, 11 hours a day rewriting
That's
it,
impressive,
all the
dude.
dialogue. Yeah. And it sounds so much better now. Like I'm
But
so
what a
glad.
learning
I'm like, I'm so
experience,
glad I
right?
did
So
it.
now you know to kind of write for narration.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so huge.
And it
Especially
helps when,
that's where it's going is audiobooks, guys. Audiobooks are
yeah,
just amazing.
yeah, I love it so much. I worked with Shane East too, because
Mm-hmm.
he has his production company, East House
East House
Productions. So
Productions. Mm-hmm.
yeah, so he's really good. I asked him to. He said no. He goes, it's not my type of book. The thriller books.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but maybe he can do Eric, as you know, if Eric's too busy
Your
and can't
backup
do it.
plan.
Yeah, so it's kind of like I need that accent, like a hint of an accent, not too thick, just you know, like a hint of one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Maybe he'll do it. I don't know.
Kathy's running through her list of people that you can reach out to Kathy, girl. She'll hook you up. She'll help you with that. uh, that's awesome. That's really cool. I've got to say, I'm already needing that book. So just let me know whenever you're ready to publish it, because I will read that.
Yeah, it's gonna have a lot of like magic and because I used to play D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, a long time ago, so I that you know, character building, you know, and like
Shut
she's
up,
like a druid.
Kathy.
You just like,
She
that's
makes
all you
fun of
had to
me.
say. You should have just led with that. Really?
What,
Like a
Dungeons and
weird way to
Dragons? Yeah,
propose, but she's here for it. So,
I've got a shelf right over here that's got all my Dungeons and Dragon books, like all the, the guides and everything,
yeah,
my little minis.
yeah. I
Yeah,
have all the
Kathy makes fun of me.
minis. Yeah, I used to love playing, but I got into writing, and it's hard to do both sometimes,
Oh
to
my
keep
God, I
up
don't
with
think I
it.
could I I've had two scenes now in my books that have came from Dungeons and Dragons role playing where I'm like, "Oh my God, that is brilliant."
Yeah.
so Jen, if you want to listen to someone play D&D, it's a whole campaign. It's called Punch and Roll Initiative, and it's all narrators that do it.
Oh,
So
cool.
Ethan Gray and I think Zach is playing, and um, who else?
I know we've interviewed like
Aaron,
3 or 4 of them.
one of our Aarons. Which one that we've had? I want to say Stone, but I don't think that's right.
No. Yeah.
Aaron.
You'll have to look through we've interviewed like 3 or 4 of them that are
Most of
playing
them,
it.
yeah. But
Yep.
it's on. I mean, they put it on YouTube. It's live every Friday night, and it's on TikTok too. So,
Yeah.
and Hell is like
Critical
one of the
Role.
moderators and stuff. That's true.
Critical yeah, Critical Role
Yeah.
has a
Critical
lot of
Role is
narrators on there.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the voice actors on there are just
Yeah.
phenomenal. That's what got me really, really into it was watching Critical Role.
Yeah. Yeah, Matt Mercer, they're like millionaires now, aren't they?
Yes.
I
I'm like,
mean,
how lucky to just hang out with your
wow.
friends and
Yeah.
become like this franchise.
I
And doing
told
what you
my
love
son
doing.
they should do it as a podcast like
There's
theirs.
so many people who are trying
They
to
should do it.
recreate what they've done.
Yeah. And uh Relics and Rarities. What's that girl's name? She's an actress. She was in True Blood. Um, Jessica, the girl who played Jessica with the long red hair.
I don't know on that one. I'm so
Yeah.
bad with names.
Is this a
I'm
TV
so bad with
show?
names. Yeah. I forgot. Yeah, but she's a really good dungeon master. Wow. She did a good job. Relics and Rarities,
I'll have to
if you
look that
like
one up.
that. Oh,
Yeah.
it's so good. I love all her stories.
The Critical Role is starting to do abridged ones, so now it's not 4 hours long to watch, what they're doing
Yeah.
it to where it's like an hour and a half, and I'm like, oh my god, yes, please. I
Yeah.
loved the abridged ones. Don't necessarily like that they've taken out all the roles, but I get that they've taken out a lot of the rolling, so that sucks a little bit, but it's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, I'm writing that one down.
But yeah, the new book, I'm really excited about it. It's going to be like seriously my love child because it's so much fun writing, about the witch and her backstory, and how she's like a druid and she's like, the forest is her domain. She's a protector of it and everything. And then you have the Iroquoian tribe that lives like right outside the perimeter that respect her, that give her gifts every month so that, she doesn't do anything to them. And they play a role later on in present day with Crimson and just, yeah, I can't wait. Like, I can't wait till it's all up here. Well, you know what I hate is
Yeah.
that it's all up here and I just need it to just all come out and it won't come out like the way, it's just so frustrating because
I write fantasy too, and I'm like, my documents of my world building, I'm like you. I'm like, this cannot come out fast enough with all the
yes.
ideas and all the backstories, and it's like, and then the squirreling into other things because we have this one character now. We go to their backstory, and now we need to
Yeah.
connect it into the story, and it's oh my gosh, yeah. It's so
Yeah,
fun though. Like
it is.
all day, every day, I'm thinking about my characters and the stories and the things fitting in together. And fantasy is so fun to write.
It is. Because you can do whatever you want. You really can do whatever you want with it. And hopefully no judgments, but yeah, it's just
Who
it is
gives
a
a
lot of
fuck?
fun.
Somebody wants to judge? Whatever. Fuck off. Go read something else. Keep scrolling. Who cares? You do you, boo.
It's just like so like for my first book, I like to read my reviews. It kind of gives me like an uplift sometimes. But I hate it when I just get a 3-star and they don't say anything and I'm like, can you tell me what I did that you didn't like so I don't do it again? I even messaged the guy. I'm like, hey, can you like explain why you only give me 3? Just to kind of like give
He's
me,
like,
help me,
fucker.
help me be a better writer.
Love that you said that though, because I'm right there with you. Like, I want to know if it's bad. Please tell me. Like, I do not shy away from the bad reviews. I want
Yes.
to read them.
My best review is a 4-star review. And I contacted her. I said, thank you so much for your review. And she gave me, it was a lengthy review, but it was only 4 stars. I'm like, oh, that's okay. I'm like, what? And I private messaged her and I said, thank you so much. I really like that you were honest with me because I want to keep doing this, but I want to do it right, so like,
Yeah.
tell me what I'm doing. And she was honest. She says, I didn't connect with your characters in your first book. When a certain person, I don't want to give it away, when a certain person passed away, I didn't feel anything. And I'm like, oh
Yeah.
no, I don't want that. I want
Yeah.
you to feel it. So my second book, I really I remembered her and I'm like, okay, if she's gonna read this one, I want her to feel it this time.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I learned from my reviews. Some people can't handle constructive criticism, but I can. I want it. Like, give it to me.
I'm right there with you. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah. If you're gonna leave a lower than a 5-star, please tell me why.
yeah, a 3-star. Like, come on, man, what did I do?
Yeah.
Tell me.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love that's probably your military background coming in there though.
Yeah,
Like
it is.
I don't know where mine came from. I'm just something's wrong.
You're still immersed in that whole world, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Oh my gosh, I love that you've gone from mystery thriller to this fantasy world. I think that is such an awesome journey that you've gone through with your
Yeah,
life and what you've gone through and what you've experienced.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I not to get off of like the book writing, but so the first two, I love the story and I love where it got me. But I also love, like, I love movies. I don't know if you guys love movies and TV shows. That's all I do pretty much in my off time is I watch movies and TV shows. And I'm like, I want my first story to be either a miniseries or a movie or something. I can do this. So I researched how to do script writing. So now I'm in the middle of doing my third book. I'm also writing scripts for the first and second book. So I finished the first screenplay for the first book. I just finished it. A friend is looking it over. I got the format all down and everything, and the dialogue I had to change up a little bit. And so, yeah, I'm working on that. And I'm also working on this romantasy. So fingers crossed, like if I can get this screenplay out there and picked up,
That would be so cool.
I don't know. We'll see. Like I already have the actors picked out who I want. For Alex and Liam and Captain Marks and all the crazy characters. So I just have to do the elevator pitch. I guess I have to do which is hard for me.
Yeah.
To
Sum
get
it up
that little
in
short
such
amount
a
of
short
time.
little.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah. It's a craft. It is a craft for sure.
But I just don't want it to get thrown on a pile with all the other screenplays. So I'm fine tuning it and making sure every format is right because it's like a crazy format. I don't know if you've ever seen a script before.
Yeah, it is weird.
Yeah, it's very weird. So yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Fingers
That's
crossed,
amazing.
girl. That is
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up because let's put that out there to the world. Let's put that good juju going into
Manifest that shit.
That
Yeah.
100%. So cool. And I love, okay, also, even though you're like, I can't take any, compliments. What a way to compliment yourself with believing that your book it would be a good movie, right? Like that, even though you're like, you don't tell me it's good. I know it's good because I think it should be a movie. That's the ultimate compliment.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Have you read the first book?
Of
I
yours?
have not had a chance, no.
Not yet, nope.
Okay.
Our TBR
But
list
is
insane.
it's
Yeah.
insane.
Especially,
There's a
Yeah.
certain scene that I always have in my mind, is when she's getting ready to fight the bad guy in the country. So basically the premise is she's in Afghanistan. She's a soldier in Afghanistan, and there's a high level political person in the country that is raping and torturing women and children, right? And he's known for doing this. And this is actually based on a real guy, if you don't know that. So I don't want to say his name, but it's based on a real guy. And he was taken care of by our military. I just don't like the way they did it. I wanted to do it a certain way in my book, so I changed it up a little bit. But yeah, so she's training all year on how to capture this guy and how to get into the palace to kill him. That's why it's called The Killing of a Shadow, because his name is the Shadow. That's his nickname, is the Shadow. So there's a certain scene in the book where, and it's so cinematic, it's when she's putting on her costume. It's not really a costume, but to go into the palace and to kill him. She's dressing as an exotic dancer. So she's actually not wearing clothes. She has body paint on.
wow.
So the only thing she has on are these little gold, those the little gold chain with the little coins on them that they wear around their hips.
Like the belly dancer stuff.
That's the only thing she's wearing, and a crown on her head, and like in the crown there's like blades. There's like hidden daggers. So
that's really fucking cool.
She's wearing this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's
Can you
got body
imagine
paint
being
on.
killed by a naked woman who has no protection? That's the ultimate fuck you.
Right?
Yeah, so it's very cinematic when she first goes into the room. That it's like a big open
Hall or
room
something.
where he's throwing this party. Basically, there's a total solar eclipse happening that day, and so that's when she does it. When the solar eclipse is happening, the room gets dark, and there's a dome ceiling. And you know how those in the Middle East they have those dome ceilings that you can see the outside. There's like little intricate like carving openings. So when the sun comes in, it makes like patterns on the ground. So everyone's looking up, at the dome sign, and she's doing her thing. So it's very like the way I wrote
Yeah,
it.
that's
It's very.
the anticipation just hearing you say all that. Like, that sounds like an amazing scene.
So I think about that scene all the time, and I'm like, I need to write this on a screenplay. Let's do this.
Someone needs to
I can
see
do
this
this.
the way I see it.
Yeah. Uh,
That's awesome.
That's super cool. Okay, so you've told us about the books you've written. You told us about the book that's coming up. Where can we find these books, and where can we follow you on social media as you're kind of going through this next phase?
Yeah, so you can find everything's on Amazon. You can find it there. I have Kindle and paperback, and then of course the audiobooks on Audible. I'm on Instagram and TikTok at JF Hilley. And then HilleyJF.com is actually my website if you want to go on there, and it talks more about why I wrote the story, and a little bit about my background and what I'm diving into next. There's clips of the audiobook on there, audiobooks, sorry, on there, and my upcoming projects and everything. So yeah, I just dived onto TikTok. I was kind of worried about TikTok, but now I'm used to it, and now I'm getting more followers on there. But I have more of a following on Instagram. Yeah.
That's awesome. This was I absolutely love this conversation. This is unlike anything we've had before, and I love the realness and the rawness and the authenticity that you shared with us. I know our listeners are gonna freak out about this episode. This is
Yeah,
a
it was
good one.
really good.
I hope so.
Yeah, you were fantastic. We'll give you a compliment.
Yes.
You're just gonna have to take it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Jen, you were amazing. I thank you so much for being on. This was fantastic.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
It was
Of
fun.
course. All right, guys. We'll see you on the next one.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us on this episode of Lemons Listening Library. Remember, every story has a journey, and every journey deserves to be heard. Keep reading, keep writing, and keep listening,